Good day to you and welcome. This is Keith Maynard and Jenny Crane saying hello from SwanTV. SwanTV, established in May 2011, is the first social enterprise local internet TV station where we aim to bring you the very best quality broadcast professionally made in Wales.
Yes, absolutely. SwanTV is the online television station offering a unique service specifically to the Swansea Bay area. Now, with Swansea as the hub, the station covers all of the Gower, across the bay to Neath and Port Talbot, then out to Llanelli and up to Carmarthen. The station concentrates and focuses on issues and items newsworthy within the catchment area.
SwanTV offers all enterprises, whether commercial or community, the chance to promote themselves, to advertise products and services to not only a local but also a global audience. And with the continuous technological advances, great marketing ideas can be effectively communicated through this medium.
Yes, SwanTV is committed to community projects, bringing the local population together and helping voluntary and charity organisations to develop their profiles. And we want to hear your news and your views.
Now, in today's show, we are meeting several different people. Geraint Davies, the local Member of Parliament for Swansea West. We'll also be chatting to Nick Bradley, who's the Council Member for Regeneration from Swansea Council, and also a very, very interesting gentleman indeed, Jeff Hayden, who looks after and owns the Dylan Thomas House, and who recently had a very special guest, the Prince of Wales, joining there. It's now time to meet our first guest. Shall we say hello to Geraint Davies, the Member of Parliament for Swansea West?
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hello,
Actually, you're the first ever guest on the Bay Live show. A big round of applause.
Absolutely. There we go.
Thanks so much.
Now, Geraint, you're a local man. You have children that attend the local schools. You've worked in a public relations organisation, had your own business.
Well, I mean, I see myself as a person championing Swansea in Westminster and elsewhere. I work with the council and the assembly and others, universities, for instance, and business, to try and bring business and jobs to Swansea. Yeah. So, for instance, I was, in a leading role for the electrification of the railways here. I've been recently trying to get Bob Dylan to come here to commemorate Dylan Thomas. So it's a matter of putting Swansea on the map, on the back of, where we are, partly because of the Swans football keeping us up there in terms of public awareness.
I mean, what are the things for you that really, really shout Swansea as being a place where you want to see business, where you want to see success? What is it for you?
Our family's been here for 5 generations, and clearly Swansea, in a way, could do much more. I feel to herald, the way. It's a great place for people to invest. It hasn't got the cost and congestion of London. Now you can hook up to the World Wide Web. You've got speedier trains. Obviously, it's things like the great football club that puts us on the map. But the universities are doing very, very well. Second university campus coming forward. So there's a lot of reasons multinational companies and small business should be wanting to locate here. So because sure, it's better to sit here with your maybe small business selling things off the web, looking at the beautiful Swansea Bay than stuck in London, frankly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I miss home a lot because I live up in London, but I'm a Welsh girl through and through, so I miss it. Now, talking about the electrification of the trains, please tell me that we're going to get faster, speedier services going up to Paddington. This is something you've been heavily involved in Parliament, isn't it?
Yeah, well, a year or so ago, the government said, well, we're not going to electrify beyond Cardiff, and we clearly, in Swansea, want to be part of the European electrified network eventually. Yeah. It's going to cut 20 minutes off the travel time. We're also looking at more frequent trains, so when you arrive at the station, you don't have to hang around waiting for the next train to London. And we'll have a new generation of trains. It looks like they'll be arriving in 2018, which is a couple of years early.
Absolutely. Oh, but very quick though, regarding the Bob Dylan, you mentioned about the Bob Dylan. What's the connection with this? Because there's this talk about this concert happening, isn't there, in Swansea?
Yeah, well, you probably know, and your viewers may know that Bob Dylan took his name after Dylan Thomas, and because of that, we've got the Dylan Thomas centenary celebration.
Because he was Bob Zimmerman originally, wasn't he?
That's right, yeah. So I wrote a letter through Sony Music an email, say, well, would he be willing to come and do a concert in 2014?
At the football stadium?
At the Liberty Stadium, exactly.
Okay.
And maybe, weave some of Dylan Thomas's work into his music. And there was a positive response from Sony, who said, well, we'll put this to Mr. Dylan and his management. And I mentioned this on the floor of the House of Commons, so then it went through Reuters, and since then it's become sort of all over the music press, internet, NME, and obviously going around America. And I suppose Bob is considering it as we speak, but the answer's blowing in the wind.
I like that one. Well, come on, Bob, if you're watching, this is what we want. We want to see you in Swansea. Thank you so much, Gareth, for taking time to talk to us. I think it's time to hear from Flora, don't you?
I think it is. Over to you, Flora.
Okay.
And next, Rob Thompson and Andy Collins with the title track of Rob's solo album, Dust.
Honey, it's you. Honey, it's you. I've seen your face around. Now it's raining blue. Look in your eyes. I can't look in your eyes. There's something coming down. Even the moon is crying. Dust is kicking up. Don't be scared, it's just a hurricane. The wind, it could lift us up. But don't be scared, ooh, it's just a hurricane. Only a hurricane. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's a hole in the sky. There's a hole in the sky. Everything's coming out. You're the reason why. Just look in your eyes. If I could just look in your eyes. If you could drag me down into the swirling tide. Dust is kicking up. Don't be scared, just a hurricane. The wind, it could lift us up. But don't be scared, ooh, it's just a hurricane. Oh, the dust is kicking up. Don't be scared, it's just a hurricane. The wind, it could lift us up. But don't be scared, ooh, it's just a hurricane. Only a hurricane.
Okay, so we're going to carry straight on. Thank you very much, Flora. And we're going to say hello now to our second guest on today's show. And this is Mr. Nick Bradley. He's the council member for Regeneration. And it's interesting because many people think of Swansea as the graveyard of ambition. But in Nick's case, his life has been linked in with Swansea in quite a way, and he's certainly achieved an awful lot. So in his case, maybe we could say it's a cradle of ambition. What would you say, Nick? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Yeah, I mean, I love Swansea. I've been here now since 1997 and came here for university. and then never left. In fact, well, one of the interesting little statistics about Swansea is it has the highest number of graduates that settle in a city than anywhere else in Europe.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's I still see a lot
Is
of.
that because of the Mumbles Mile?
Well, the Mumbles Mile isn't really there anymore, but I think it's. I mean, obviously, Graveyard of Ambition. That Dylan Thomas said that as a very positive thing. He meant that when people come to Swansea, they never want to leave. And I think that's borne out by the fact that so many graduates do settle here, start working here, have families, and
Have you fallen for a local girl and kind of settled down?
Not yet. But I mean, I think it's very. I mean,
Not yet. So this is a chance.
There's always
If you're watching this and you like the look of it, right in.
That's a whole different show.
He's got a great future ahead of himself.
But it's. I mean, I do love Swansea. I think it's got the work-life balance in Swansea is fantastic. I mean, the bay, the parks, and we've got so many great parks. The city, I love Swansea, and having the Gower on your doorstep as well, just fantastic. It really is.
But regenerating an area, where do you begin with something as bold as change?
Well, I think people have a tendency to dismiss Swansea, and I think the Swans have put Swansea on the map globally, as has already been said. And I think regeneration is something that is absolutely fundamental. We've got to embrace the fact that we're having larger numbers of visitors. I mean, just having the football club in the Premier League has generated an extra £58 million to the local economy per year, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
We're seeing more hotels opening, we're seeing more people coming to stay. And what's really interesting is when people come to Swansea, a lot of them are return visitors. So you're getting people coming back in the summer that may have come down to see their team play Swansea, and then they're coming again for another visit. But yeah, regeneration is important. There are areas of the city centre that are in need of regeneration. I mean, all high streets are suffering at the moment, but we've got to be smart about it. We've got to be clever. We've got to think and look at the assets. We've got to make the connection between the sea and the city centre a lot clearer. Certainly there's areas like the high street, I know that is an area that is my number one priority.
You've put a lot of money into that recently, haven't you? We're amazed at what you can.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at how we can help businesses open premises in the high street. And actually, if you talk to traders on the high street, they're very much more positive than they were. Things are moving forward. There's fantastic new developments that have been constructed thanks to housing associations on the high street. And I think it's an exciting time. I really believe that we're kind of at that cusp now where the balance has started to be tipped, and I think businesses are starting to grow again, and we're looking at seeing how the development can grow in Swansea. And I think in 3, 5, 7 years' time, people won't be able to recognise the city. Very positive about how we can regenerate it. The council is going to be putting £1 million into transforming the market in this coming year, which is going to be followed by more funding. So in 2 or 3 years' time, you're going to have a brand new market essentially, which is absolutely fit for purpose and is transformed. And I think the market is the heart of the city centre. But we can't forget the other areas. There's places like Uplands that are regenerating themselves. Mumbles, which is doing really well and fantastic. And there are all sorts of little places all over Swansea and the Gower that are doing fantastically well.
Well, it seems that the right man is in the right job, because you're very passionate about it, and I guess with passion then becomes the regeneration, which sees the changes. And you said 7, 10 years time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the future is really bright. I think the regeneration of Swansea has happened, and I think what's really good is it's about partnership working. It's about regional working. The MP Geraint has already mentioned about how we work together. We work together particularly well, and I think that's it. The working of the local authority, the Welsh Government, and then the national politicians, that is hugely important. It's collaboration, it's working together, it's regional partnership, and I think the future is very bright. I mean, the other thing that I kind of want to mention as well is that this idea of Swansea being a city region, and that's really exciting. I mean, it's going to be the Swansea Bay City region, which incorporates Neath and Port Talbot. It's going to incorporate Carmarthen and other areas as well. But obviously, it is the Swansea City Bay region, and we are very excited about the inward investment opportunities, the regeneration opportunities that's going to bring.
Look, we'll stop you there because we could talk forever. But
thank you very much.
Keep it up, guys.
I mean, just very quickly to say, I mean, it is, a lot of people don't realise anything about the Bay Area, do they? I mean, we went for a walk this morning along there, and it's absolutely beautiful. There's a lot more to Swansea than just meets the eye, shall we say?
There is all the Mumbles Mile, which isn't there anymore.
That was last night. Okay, so let's move on. Thank you very much, Nick.
No worries.
Thank you, Geraint. Okay, well, we're going to move on now, and we're going to meet our final our final guest, I believe. But before we do, I think we're going to hand over to Flora again quickly. So over to you, Flora.
Yes, I'm joined by Dave Long, a local artist who's recently set up a collective as part of a social enterprise. Dave, tell us a bit about the collective.
Okay, well, the collective is called All One Word, and we're a community-driven organisation.
So are you hoping to sort of get the community involved with the art and bring the community together through art?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, we really want to sort of, using the student base that we have. I mean, Swansea's a massive student city, and we want to help these students to establish themselves within the city, and thus then they can, give something back to the community, like give the community a voice in terms of the artwork that it likes to see and the events that we can put on.
And are these sort of small bits of art, or are we talking graffiti in the community? What sort of thing is it?
We're definitely talking paint cans and a roller sort of job.
Amazing.
We work closely with, in town, it's called Sin City's nightclub, and there's an event that we sort of collaborate with called Sync. And Sync is all about live art and live music, and it's very sort of student orientated. But we're looking to sort of expand that, given just how popular it is to sort of see live art sort of being created alongside sort of just great music acts. So we're definitely sort of wanting to push out from that call.
And you've been working on this today. I see there's a swan here, and is this all one word, the name of your social enterprise?
Yeah, All One Word is the name of the organisation.
What's the dream with it? What's the sort of end goal? Is it to put Swansea on the map as far as art goes? And
most definitely. I mean, we really want to sort of stimulate this ecosystem. We want there to be, a constant cycle of like students and artists sort of establishing themselves in Swansea and like really giving Swansea a voice, and then moving out nationally and internationally and sort of pushing into festivals and like really large scale events and really
Well, it's been great to have you on. We hope you'll come back and tell us and keep us updated on All One Word and maybe get some of the artists in sometime.
I'd love to.
Back to you, Keith and Jenny.
Okay, thank you very much, Flora. More for her to look forward to a little bit later on. Well, we're back now and we're going to talk to our final guest. Last, but by no means least, a man who has done lots recently to promote Dylan Thomas in the local area. It's a pleasure to have you here, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for coming. I can see your fabulous display all behind you as well there, which we'll have a little talk about later. But first of all, tell us why it's so important right now that we are talking about Dylan Thomas.
Well, it's because in 2014, it's the centenary of Dylan Thomas's birth, and centenaries are things that people love to celebrate. And Dylan Thomas's centenary is no exception, and it's building up to that now. That there's a momentum building of lots of events, not only in Swansea but across Wales and across the whole of the world.
This ties in very well with the whole kind of regeneration, the whole kind of pushing Swansea out there, doesn't it? Because obviously of Dylan Thomas's links with Swansea itself, and I believe, am I right in thinking that you purchased his house and you kind of regenerated it yourself? You restored it.
We have regenerated it. We've taken it from what I would describe as a bad student bedsit, and I must say
a bit like his house.
A bit like his house. And I must say I must thank the former Swansea City Administration, which Nick had nothing to do with, for giving up the lease of the house, because it allowed us to restore it back to its condition as a new house in 1914 when the Thomas family moved into the house just a few months before Dylan was born in the front bedroom. So it's now set up. If you walked into the house today, it is very much like it would have been during the First World War.
Now, you recently had Prince Charles over. I say recently. It was when was it? It was last year, or
it was last December.
Last December, yeah. What did he say about your lovely house?
Well, the first thing he said, I did say to him that he said, "You've done a lot of work to it." I said, "Yes, it was like a bad student bedsit when we took it over. If you know what those are like." And he said, "I've seen lots of those in my time." And he was very impressed, and I think he was genuinely interested in what was going on.
But now it's not just Prince Charles, is it? You've recently been over to America with ex-President Carter. Did he open the Dylan Thomas Centre there? What was the connection in America?
Well, the connection with President Carter is that he is a huge Dylan Thomas fan.
Right, okay.
He first discovered Dylan's work when in 1953, and it's been his guiding sort of principle as a poet. But he knows Dylan's poetry very, very well.
You're actually now going off to the People to get 100 different people involved, interviews or vox pops, I guess, about Dylan Thomas. So where's that going to lead you?
Well, I don't really know. I think it'll lead to a book,
right?
With short pieces out of it.
Okay.
And it could lead to television pieces. I did one recently with Archbishop Rowan Williams, and there's a perfect little 45-second piece about what he feels should come out of the centenary.
Okay.
And that's the kind of thing that they're looking at with that. But it's not only people like that, it's people from across the board. I've interviewed the maid who worked for the Thomases for 5 years when she was 15 and Dylan was 16.
Quite a few.
And also Dylan's, is it Dylan's sister that you mentioned as well?
Daughter.
Daughter, sorry.
Daughter. Yeah, she sadly died 3 years ago. But she was a great champion for her father, and her daughter has now taken on that mantle, and she's really fronting the Welsh Government's Dylan Thomas Festival.
Should we bring in, I'm just thinking here, well, what's your opinion on Dylan Thomas?
This could become a really international celebration, and we may know that more children are taught Dylan Thomas in schools in America than in Wales, for instance. And you know, it's a big issue, and what we need to do is not just have something happening during 2014, but for people to know about it beforehand, and the momentum to build, as Jeff has been said. I mean, who knows? Perhaps Michael Sheen might want to act as Dylan Thomas. Obviously, I'm trying to push forward with Bob Dylan. There's issues about getting Bollywood over here, Malaysia, and there's Nick's involved with the international links through the university as well. I'm on the Council for Europe. I'm talking with them about having a special exhibition there of Dylan Thomas towards the end of this year, so we can get people around the world coming here. And the issue is getting people here through to 2014, but also every year after at Dylan Thomas.
It is the legacy issue. It's it's about making sure that 2014 is a hugely important celebration and that everybody comes together. But it is also, as Geraint rightly says, it is about the recognition of what we can get from that and how we can build on that in future years. Like everyone talks about legacy when there's big events, and that's key. I think that's key for Swansea going forward.
Well, sadly, the end of the show, the first Bay live show, live at the Bay.
Absolutely.
It's been great.
We've had a fantastic time with 3 fantastic guests.
Yes, thank you very much to each and every one of you.
Thank you very much for the first ever show. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to you, Laura.
And thank you to you for watching. So we've been Keith Maynard, Jenny Crane, and the lovely Flora Blathwaite. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.
Indeed.
Enjoy.
Hold back.